All right, guys, we are 1 week away from the AP government exam, May 11th at 4 p.m. Make sure you are logged on and ready to go by 3:30 so you can fill out some of the personal information before the exam. Today's video, I'm going to walk you through my preferred method for taking the exam. I think using a computer or laptop is the easiest way to take the exam. I've been through the demo now on my phone and with a laptop, and by far the laptop is the easiest and least challenging in terms of um, technical difficulties. You won't have any difficulties if you use the laptop, I'm pretty sure. Um, but I will also be making a video that goes over the how to use a phone, the best method to use the phone, in my opinion. Now, ultimately, it's up to you, but hopefully, you'll use these tips and watch how I do things. So, I'm showing you how I would take the exam using my laptop. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing we want to do is make sure we have all the supplies in front of us before we get started. So we want to have our books in case we want to reference any of that information in the book. We want to have our study guides. If you can print them out, that would be great. If you've got them all electronic, there's a way you can have those preloaded on the laptop, and you can just look at them that way on the laptop and switch back and forth. You may or may not need paper. Really, the paper is for people who want to handwrite their answers and take pictures of them and then upload those pictures. To me, that's a little too complicated, especially using the computer. All right, next thing you want to do is find your e-ticket, and that's going to be emailed to you 2 days before the exam. Okay, so make sure you look at that, or go to myapcollegeboard.org, get on there, and you can find the e-ticket that way as well. That e-ticket is going to give you a link. That's going to give you access to the exam. Okay, so once you find that e-ticket, you're going to click take me to the exam, and that's going to open up the official testing browser or tab of the browser. Okay, and what I've done is, well, what AP has done is they've created a demo, kind of a shorter version of what you'll experience during the exam. So what you see here is I'm going through the different places on the College Board website that you'll find interesting. There's a section on taking the exam. You might want to check that out. That's where you'll find the demo. I also have links to the demo that I'm going to show you here on our Canvas page. And make sure you go through a couple of practice runs, especially if you think you're going to need to look at a lot of notes. Where are those notes going to be? How are you going to flip back and forth? So you want to kind of prepare for what you're going to experience. There's also a video that AP has that they created to help you get used to this process as well. So what you'll see in a couple little few seconds here is the interactive demo. So once I click that, basically the exam has started, and you're going to type in your own AP ID that all of you have. So make sure you know that information so you can type it in. I'm just having to create one because this is practice. So once we get started, it gives you a lot of warnings. You're going to start by filling out some personal information. Notice the clock is running. So there is a time associated with all these different steps. And that time is going to be up until the official start time. Okay, so they want you to start this process about 3:30. So if you log in at 3:30, that clock's probably going to show 30 minutes on it. Now the information I'm filling in is shorter in the demo. They're not going to take me through the full process. So that's why they want you to get on there at 3:30. Make sure you get all that information, and then this is going to be kind of the hardest part. Is once you've finished, you're just going to have to sit for the remainder of the clock. The clock's going to have to run out. They're going to make you go through all of the time, whether you're ready to continue or not. Um, so keep that in mind. And you don't want to be playing around and like going to different pages. You don't want to refresh the page or accidentally close the page. So make sure you are careful during this time. So fill in all the information that they ask you. Remember, part of this is for security reasons. They want to make sure it's you taking the test and nobody else. So make sure there's no cheating. I'm trusting you that that's not going to be a problem. So here, part of it was a survey they wanted me to fill out, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So now we're just waiting, right? So I've still got 3 minutes. I'm pretty much finished with the personal information. Make sure you read everything. So now I'm still waiting, right? So the exam will begin soon. So it's a wait screen, and there's different things you can look at and read. Make sure you read on how to submit your assignments. For the computer, to me, the best way is to use the copy and paste method. So you see there what I've done is I've pulled up a Word document. You can also use Google, anything you can type in. And the great thing about Windows is you can put two windows side by side. So I've got my browser on the left side, I've got my Word document on the right side, and I can easily go back and forth. I can even open up extra tabs. So if I want to do research, I can have a tab, just for Google research, and then I could go back to the tab for the exam. Okay, and notice the time is still ticking. So when you're off of that screen, the time is still running in the background, counting down. So don't lose track of time. You don't want to get in a situation where you're losing time because you weren't paying attention. So the plan for my strategy would be to use the copy and paste method. So I'll have my document set up. I've already got my ID in there. I've got my initials like they want you to put. I even have question one, since there's only 2 questions, question one. So that's what I'm working with now. And once again, I'm waiting. So the countdown is on. I've got 1 minute and 25 seconds left before I get to start. So here I'm just preparing. I'm making sure I'm not missing any important information. So notice there's different methods you can use. Like I said, for the computer, I think copy and paste is your best method here. So make sure you read the guidelines on how to properly type out your response and what they're looking for when you paste it, which I'm going to show you all of that as well. Alright, so it is time for question one. The time has started. So on the first question, you're going to get you'll get 30 minutes. They think 25 is enough for you to get through the question, and the last 5 is for you to finish uploading your answers. In this case, we are going to use the cut and paste method. Excuse me, the copy and paste method. I'll tell you later why you probably don't want to use cut and paste, because you don't want to take away the answer in case you mess up. But remember, you got different tabs you can have open for research. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward and type out this answer and show you how to paste it. I'm going to fast forward through some of the, I wrote my answer, I'm copying. So I'm going to copy from that window, and then you're going to find the paste the response button. So I'm going to paste my response. They won't let you type in the box, so all you can do is copy and paste. So if you need to make any corrections, you got to go back to your Word document, make those corrections, and then paste again. So you can clear the field, copy again, make your additions or corrections in your Word document. That's why you only want to copy. You don't want to cut it, because you don't want to lose your work accidentally. Of course, if you know how to use the undo buttons and things like that, you can get it back, but make sure you're just copying and pasting. That's basically it. So remember the argumentative essay. You're going to need to refer to different sources. So they'll give you some examples of sources they want you to use, and then you have to use one of those. And then you can bring in a second source if it one that's not listed, or you can use one of the use two of the sources that they give you. To me, that's probably the easiest because they're both going to apply to the argumentative essay. You don't have to guess at another source. You just use the sources that they give you. Use two of them. They should all be familiar to you. If you need to do a little research on them before you start writing, that's perfectly fine. Just don't waste your time. I think 25 minutes is going to be plenty of time. And then write as much as you can. Try to get as many points as you can. There's going to be about 5 points in that argumentative essay. Once you submit, you're back to waiting. You're going to have to wait through whatever time you didn't use. So if you finish in 15 minutes, you're going to have to wait 15 more minutes for the second question to begin. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so we're ready for the second question to begin, the concept application. So I've or my Word document ready to type in. You can do that while you're waiting for the second question to begin. So remember, with the concept analysis, they're going to give you some sort of scenario to read, and then they're going to say apply this concept to the scenario, and make sure you describe and explain the concept. That might be something you have to look up. Don't be afraid to look it up. Remember, you're only going to have 20 minutes total here to write and submit your work. So don't spend a lot of time researching. Hopefully they give you some concepts that you're familiar with. Well, I'm going to finish up my answer here. I think you guys are going to do great. I hope you guys will spend this last week preparing, getting everything you need ready, and we'll see what happens. So I hope this helps, and good luck.